So even just on a standalone basis, and these are not forecasts, this is just looking ahead, it is not difficult seeing Tankweld becoming a 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year business, sort of over, the next few years.
Good morning, welcome Bahay, back at GOLDINVEST. It's a pleasure having you, specifically after a news like last week, a transformational acquisition, and a very, in a way, not unexpected, but also at the same time very surprising, I find, because a junior takes over a senior in a way. This has probably taken a lot of preparation, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, good morning, Sven. Great to be back with you, and definitely a very significant transaction we look forward to discussing. It's definitely a large and significant acquisition. Although it may be surprising for the market, it's certainly not surprising from a Parkway perspective. So since the AGM in November, we'd foreshadowed we were looking at something significant that would help extend our capabilities. And as we expand our technologies and look towards commercializing them, we've identified and mapped out how do we go about from taking these technologies from a pilot plant to a commercial plant. And during that process, we're very specifically after some fabrication and installation related capabilities. And we've been able to find a company in our home city in Melbourne that specifically has those capabilities, specifically works in the water sector, is very well regarded. So yeah, no, it's very, very exciting acquisition. And yeah, look forward to doing a deep dive with you.
This is now becoming quite a sizable operation. Parkway came with 30 employees. This company has around 40. So all of a sudden, it's quite a workforce that you have in different locations too. Adds complexity, but it also adds capabilities, I would say, mostly capabilities, and what I see, capability on executing on larger projects.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, we most definitely are growing, and it definitely does add complexity, but that's a necessary step to being able to grow the company. And I guess if we can just bring it back to Tankweld for a moment, Sven, as a standalone business, that's a very successful business, and it has an extensive operating history. So this isn't sort of additional overhead or headcount we're adding, hoping at some stage we'll utilize them. So that's already a very successful business. It just means that now that Tankweld is part of the Parkway Group, we can insert Parkway projects into those workflows. So it really is a accretive transaction in the sense that, the product is more than, the sum is greater than, 1 + 1. So, yeah, very, very exciting.
What comments that I got back from investors is they were surprised about the deal structure itself, right? You're buying a real business, and I've seen the impressive images of their fabrication hall, of all the hardware that they're offering. And you were buying this actually for a very small, what I think is a small upfront payment, I think of 650,000. Plus you take over existing loan of 1.75, and all the rest is then pretty much geared towards the future. So I think you have to give a little bit more color as to how you got to this deal structure, obviously.
I mean, we've obviously structured a deal that we think is very favourable for Parkway. We've structured in a way that has limited upfront cash consideration. And if you look at the bulk of the consideration, a lot of it is performance-based. So, there's potentially another $3 or $4 million that's payable over 4 years, assuming the business continues to grow at an agreed top-line growth rate and agreed EBITDA margin. And if that were to happen, we're essentially paying those performance payments out of, free cash the business is generating. So that's really good. downside protection for Parkway. We're not paying for the future success of the business unless the business succeeds. So that helps us mitigate the risk. And for the vendor, he genuinely believes in the business. I mean, if it means he gets a higher headline number, but it'll take some years to invest and support and help us manage and grow that business, he's absolutely 100% committed to that. That's the only reason we've done the deal. So we don't see ourselves as a private equity owner or anything like that. I mean, this is very much...
Agreed. But I think the major point, obviously, from a Parkway listed company perspective is you managed this acquisition with the least possible dilution, really, because that's the immediate fear. Okay, you buy something, and first question is, how many shares are you giving out? And that's been really dealt with. So obviously, you gave it a lot of thought in that regard, I guess.
Given the sort of deal we were able to strike, I guess we ultimately made a decision that owning a company like Tankweld here and now, we've been working on this deal for many months. From a strategic perspective, I don't mean from the market's response today or this week or next month. We're trying to build a company with, with a growth profile of 10 plus years, right? And when we look at things over that sort of horizon, I mean, I think we could have paid twice the price we have and this business still to make sense. So I guess when you're looking at something with those sorts of merits, I guess you've got to be a little bit strategic and think, let's put the market aside and we can sell the deal later. And since doing the deal, the first thing we did, we spent, the first few days visiting key clients, key partners, the management team, to really make sure we can integrate the team and reassure everything that this is going to be part of something, big and exciting. And I guess what's important is we've got incredible visibility on a deep pipeline of projects, and many of these projects are quoted 6, 12, 18 months in advance. So, there's literally tens of millions of dollars worth of projects that are in a pipeline that we'll work our way through for the remainder of the year. And I guess even more importantly, in managing some of these businesses, some of the players in the market that were around 3 or 5 years ago are no longer present in the market. So we actually see an opportunity. And I guess the existing Tankweld business was a little bit constrained because it didn't have corporate support as essentially a small family enterprise. I mean, it's obviously been very successful getting to where it is, but it's reached a point where it needs systems and processes and corporate support to be able to take it to the next level. And I guess we reached really good alignment with the vendor that we could achieve that. So even just on a standalone basis, and these are not forecasts, this is just looking ahead, it is not difficult seeing Tankweld becoming a 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year business, sort of over, the next few years as we continue to invest in those projects. And many of the sites that Tankweld is active, there are $50, $100, $150 million projects going in every year that require these sorts of services. So that's not an ambitious outlook. So that's a little bit about Tankweld's growth profile. But if you look at how we've presented what Tankweld means for Parkway, I mean, that's all very important. I mean, it is important. I mean, we have our CFO today on site at Tankweld the whole day, supporting the team, ensuring we have, P&L accountability over that business. We take that incredibly seriously. But this isn't a roll-up. I mean, we didn't acquire Tankweld to just boost our own numbers. We acquired Tankweld primarily because it gives us a strategic capability. And that capability is to be able to commercialize our technologies. We outlined in our technology part of our business, we have 3 core focus areas. So one is master plan related technology development. The second is acid mine drainage, so upstream waste generated by the mining industry. And the third area is the downstream. So a lot of these battery refineries have byproduct streams that also generate wastes. As we look ahead, these technologies are leaving the lab. We're piloting those, we're speaking to commercial customers, and we start outlining proposals. What does a commercial plant look like? What's the delivery model? Whilst we have some great partners already, contractors, Worley, etc., there's a tier of project, particularly in that $3 to $20 million range, which is too small for a global engineering company to be delivering, but it's too big for Parkway on our own to have delivered as a small company. It was beyond our own area of expertise. So that's really what we were looking for. And Tankweld, of course, is an excellent fit. That's specifically what they do, projects of that scale, projects in this industry. So as we move forward, Parkway's technology development and commercialization commissioning the Centre for Brine Technologies, installing pilot plant equipment, working with a range of clients to take those projects through from scoping work to feasibility work to, you know, detailed engineering designs ready for delivery. That work is ongoing. It's on track, on budget, as per what we outlined at our AGM 3 or 4 months ago. And we reaffirmed those timelines again recently. And in parallel, Tankweld, of course, will be running, you know, its own business, its existing operations that have already been booked. But over the course of the year, there'll be a hybridization of those work programs. So Parkway requires a skid-mounted pilot plant, or it requires a containerized water treatment plant for a client. They will become internal projects within Tankweld's production line. So we'll support and incubate those. And so Tankweld has a very clear workflow. Parkway has a very clear sort of set of priorities. But over the course of the year, we'd hopefully bring those together and work on some more common projects. And certainly, you know, by mid-year, end of the year, some of those technology projects start approaching commercial milestones, then, you know, we'll really be able to see Tankweld step up with, you know, plans, capabilities to be executing some of those, including
I think it's really almost like you bought the capabilities that otherwise you would have needed to pay for and with third parties. I think that's the way I look at this deal. And the other way, the other basically notion that comes to my mind is it actually de-risks the company because it sets you on a bigger foot. And the type of projects, including maintenance and everything that Tankweld brings is actually less dependent on order inflow. It seems like where's my next client and something. They have a they're existing for, I don't know, 80 years something. Plus 80 years actually. So they're grandfathered, and a lot of projects I would assume are there that just need to be maintained. And as you said, and we can vouch for that here in Germany as well. Number of reliable parties that can actually build and fix stuff is decreasing, and with the consequence that you tend to pay up for it. Anyways, I think you gave us some color on the deal. It also provides the company with now critical mass. I think we should try and wrap it up here. We've been already a little over time in a way, and thank you for being available to us. And we'll certainly circle back with you at the very next occasion. Hopefully by then we're looking at the share price that is a little different. Maybe well, share price is one thing. Are you kind of how's your take on the market reaction on this deal? Did you expect something like this?
I guess what's important from a Parkway perspective is, you know, we sort of separate the noise from running the real business. Of course, we all want to see a higher share price. You know, that's our currency at the end of the day. But I mean, on the same note, we would be very disillusioned if we only looked at the market as opposed to focusing on, you know, making strategic long-term decisions. Otherwise, I think we'd be making decisions for the wrong reasons, I think. So, but I'm sure over time, as the market recognizes, Sven, that we have capabilities, we're making process, we have partners, our revenue is growing, we're profitable conceivably, you know, in the near future. I think they're all important catalysts shareholders have to look forward to.
Thank you, Bahay. We'll terminate here. And again, thanks for taking your time.